Okay, now that we've completed the front elevation inspection, we always move from front, right, rear, left. In order to move to the right elevation, what you're going to want to do is you're going to back up and make sure you capture, to the best of your ability, the left front corner and the right rear corner, to the best of your ability, in one picture shot before you move to the next elevation. Then you move over and take a picture of that right elevation, showing that we're moving onto that elevation for the office and the admin, so that they can actually put together an estimate properly. Now we're moving to this side. You've now taken a picture of it. We again start from the left side of the house, looking at the damages, and move right as we find anything. If you do not find any damage, what you want to do is you want to document that there was no damage. So let's just say if we looked at the downspout, there was nothing there, write down no damage on company cam. This way the office knows not to waste any time trying to figure out what you're trying to document there. Now I'm going to show you real quick. This side has no sun, but if I take my light and I shine it, you're going to see there's dents and dings all over the gutter. Okay? Even pea-sized ones count as hail damage. It's still cosmetic, but again, it's got damage. So if there's damage, that's something that they owe for. A couple of things to note when you meet, and it's to kind of avoid anything waist high or lower. I would mostly like to avoid. Most insurance adjusters don't want to address it because it could be a flying rock, or it could be somebody, weed whacking or whatever it might be. They don't typically like to do anything within waist or lower. Anything above your waist is considered something that you could identify as actual damage. Now again, we're going to take a look at the gutter before we move on and see if there's any damage to it. I don't see any dents or dings on this side right now. Then we're going to move on to the fascia, and if you see, there's actually a dent right there where the light is. If you could take a picture from the bottom. Otherwise, what you could do is also put a ladder up next to it and chalk that damage. And we'll probably find some more as we go along. But I would try to identify one hit. One hit is enough to get the entire side of fascia on that elevation replaced. So we have one. Couple of things to note. Gas lines, you want to take a picture showing that there's the gas meter to it. You also want to show that there's caulking and other things that are on here, because they're going to have to work around that and obviously retrofit the siding to it. Other things to note, you have cable wire here. You're going to have to detach and reset it. Now there is no detach and reset in the software for cable, but we would ask to allow for an extra additional labor hour to accommodate for that. Moving further right, you're going to notice there's cable boxes. They are attached on top of the siding. You cannot remove the siding unless you detach the cable boxes and the phone boxes. So we're going to have to accommodate for that. If there's no line item for it, again, what we're going to use is obviously additional labor hours. The most important one, meter mast or meter detach and reset. In this case, you would not detach and reset this meter mast because it's not attached on top of the siding like you saw the boxes here. What they did is what's called J channel around it. So again, they only owe for what's currently there and what is currently damaged. So in this case, we would just allow for additional labor hours for this work. Okay. Moving further. Oh, before I go further right, I want to point out to you there is hail damage here. What I would want you to do is take an overview shot of this entire elevation, and then there's an option which I'll show you in this video to circle where you found the damage. And if you look, I'm going to point it out with the light right now. There's one, and up high there's another. Now, what the carrier owes for is really to detach and replace that one panel, as long as that panel is still manufactured. So what we would have to find out is this still manufactured? If it is, then all they owe for is for repair. If they don't have this product readily available and made anymore, or a different color, at that point they owe it to remove and replace at the very minimum that one elevation. But typically if they have a completely different color, they owe for all the sides. Final things to look at also is behind the siding. What you want to do is nicely pull away the siding without damaging it and look behind there, and you're going to see that there's actually a weather wrap. Sometimes you could feel it. If it's insulation, it's going to be more gummy. If it's weather wrap, it's going to look like plastic on there. Some policies don't have ordinance and law built into them, or otherwise known as code coverage. So we want to make sure that we adjust anything that's here so we get it paid for on the estimate up front. And now we're going to keep moving right. A couple other things to notate. Is it easy access? Is there space between the properties to get there? If there's a difficult access and you have a building that's literally 3 feet away, they're going to have to take additional time and labor to move materials over, and much more time consuming to not damage anything. Things that you want to pay attention to is the fence attached to the siding? If it is, you would have to detach and reset it. Outside of that, we're going to move now to the next corner. So let's go ahead and do a backup shot of the left and rear in one shot.